Bitcoin is flashing critical signal right now, and we know where retail traders hide in their stop losses. Will the market makers go there and liquidate those? What are the smart money doing right now? Let's analyze.
My crypto paradise.
Hello ladies and gentlemen of the Paradise Club, this is Simon from My Crypto Paradise. It's great to have you back. Today is Tuesday and a new week is ahead of us. In the previous videos we've been expecting that if Bitcoin reclaims this resistance, the next major target is going to be at around $121,000. After that I've told you that I want to see this kind of bearish retest of the resistance, and we have done exactly that, and we started to form head and shoulders pattern. We will be talking about the head and shoulders pattern. It's extremely important to understand how to trade it. Ladies and gentlemen, right now on the live price action we are retesting this neckline, and as you can see it didn't get broken just yet. We have also created a bullish divergence, and we will be talking about all of this. All right, first of all I want to share with you some insider data. So right here we can see on the footprint that we are having some stacked buy-in imbalances right here, and what you want to see is some kind of absorption if you want to create some high probability short positions. Something similar would happen right here. If I show you the candlesticks, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that right here we have been seeing some buying imbalances, but the price action didn't follow, right, the buy-in, and we didn't create a new higher high. However, we started to go to the downside. This is called absorption, ladies and gentlemen, and basically these buying orders, heavy ones, all right, got absorbed by some big sell limit orders and some big sell-in from smart money. Okay, that is why we have afterwards started to drop to the downside, and right now we are trading below the major resistance at $121,000, and you are also waiting for some absorption, right? So loads of stacked buying imbalances right here on this candle, but as you can see right now we are trying to close above this one. However, if this 4-hour candle will start to close below the body of this one, these buy imbalances, this buying pressure will be trapped. Okay, we are analyzing on futures exchange. This means lots of long positions right here will be trapped. Okay, and this will be absorption, and it will increase the probabilities that we will break below the head and shoulders neckline. However, we will be talking about the confirmations, because this is not all, right? You just don't wait for buying or selling imbalances or some absorption. You are waiting for confirmations. As a professional trader, you need to make sure that you are entering only in the highest probable trades. In the long run, this will make you profitable trader. Okay, if we take a look at some buy big walls and sell walls right here on the futures exchange, we can just see that they're being spoofing, ladies and gentlemen. Loads of spoofing. They have been removing these sell limit walls. So if the market makers want to push the price to the upside right now, they have a free ride towards around $121,000, because as you can see on the spot exchange there is still $42 million sell wall. It's quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen. If we take a look at the cumulative volume delta on futures exchange, we can see loads of short positions got created in this section right here. We have been going down with the cumulative volume delta. We have been having loads of selling pressure because we have had a divergence with the open interest, so we can see loads of new contracts being opening, right? If we however switch towards spot exchange, we can see that nothing major was happening. However, what was happening is this big cumulative delta volume and the delta volume as well on this candle right here. So there was a big buy order on the spot exchange, which usually means continuation. What they are trying to do with the highest probability, they are trying to liquidate these short positions, okay, that been created on this price action lower. So you might expect some kind of spike to the upside. They also created a free ride for the Bitcoin price, right? And once I see some spike to the upside, and I want to basically confirm that these short positions are out, right? I'm gonna confirm it by watching the liquidations. So when I will see similar wick out like happened right here, I will be with the highest probability sure that they got rid of the short positions, and then they have a smooth ride to the downside. And as always, we want to be riding the waves with the smart money, with the whales, right? So let's take a look at the funding rates. The accumulated funding funding rates, ladies and gentlemen, are still extremely positive. What does it mean? In this short-term price action, there are some trapped short positions, okay, but in the long term, all right, on medium and high time frame, there are still much more long positions than short positions, all right. So right now we are talking about big moves like 10-20% at some direction, okay, and for the market makers it's easier to slap it to the downside. Why? Because basically these long positions that are right now over leveraged in the market, they once hit create automatically a short contract, okay, and it will easily push the price even further to the downside. So then if the market makers can position themselves smartly, right, they can liquidate the short positions that are trapped right from here, hit their sell limit orders above, and then start pushing the price to the downside, right? A beautiful orchestrated manipulation. That's exactly what the market makers love to do. If we take a look at the fear and greed index, ladies and gentlemen, on the daily time frame, you can monitor everything with me on our website mycryptoparadise.com. You can see that we are diving down from the point of 80, and you know the main levels are 80 and 20. Last time what happened, we have been right here at around June 9 at around 80, and after that when the Bitcoin was at $109,000 and the fear and greed index, a special one on our website, hit almost 80, we have started to push to the downside, right, and we have ended at around 20 point, and as you can see the Bitcoin price ended at around $99,000. So loads of greed in the market from the long-term perspective, and the whales, as you can see, they are not really bullish, they are actually bearish, ladies and gentlemen, and we can confirm that also right here while watching hyperliquid right now the 50 millions to infinitive wallets, how they are managing their funds, and you can see that they are bearish. Unlike the shrimps, right, which is retail, and the fishes and dolphins, they are maximum very bullish. That also confirms who is creating this hugely positive accumulated funding rates, right? So always make sure that you're applying with the smart people, with the minority, if you want to be on the right side of the next upcoming big move. If we take a look at the liquidation levels, ladies and gentlemen, very important level will be at around $108,000, and this is a level where you can see loads of stacked stop losses and liquidation levels of these over leveraged long positions in the market right now. Let's jump into the price action. Let's take a look at some technical analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, also keep in mind that today there is Fed Chair Jeremy Powell set to speak at 8:30 a.m. EST today, all right? So pay attention. He's gonna be speaking. It's going to be very important what he's gonna say about the markets. And also read this story on our website mycryptoparadise.com. It's absolutely crazy. $3.4 billion in Ethereum gone forever. Read why this is actually bullish from the long-term perspective on our website mycryptoparadise.com. You will be very surprised. Let's right now jump into the price action on weekly time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, we have closed the weekly candle around 2 days ago, and take a look how it looks. It is the shooting star I have been updating you about, okay? Shooting star candlestick pattern. Usually when you see it, it's a signal of upcoming reversal. So you need to be very careful about how the next candle is going to close, because if it's gonna close like this, similar to this one, below the body of the shooting star candlestick pattern, it will create a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be bearish, and it will increase the probabilities that we will not need to revisit $135,000 before having a bearish trend, where from the high time frame perspective the major support, the first one, will be at around $88,000. So keep a big attention how we are reacting towards this $121,000 right now, ladies and gentlemen. If we will close bearishly the next weekly candle that is closing in 5 days, it will really put to the pockets of bears, and it will increase the probabilities of the bearish price action incoming and reversal incoming. Look what happened right here, ladies and gentlemen. Something similar if happens, be very careful. The shooting star candlestick pattern, and then the next bearish candle. And as you know, with the Paradise Family VIPs, we have been catching this movement, and we have been riding that to the downside right towards around $77,000, and then we have right here taken our take profit on our short signal, right? And one of these, it wasn't all of the confirmations, and it wasn't either the reason for taking the short, it was just confirmation, right? we always approach the markets with this kind of holistic view, what's going to happen next, and then watching these kind of confirmations on the technical analysis side is something which just gives you the green light to open a long or short position. And one of the green lights, right, there are many green lights, but one of them was also the shooting star candlestick pattern and the confirmation from this engulfing bearish candlestick pattern that confirmed the shooting star, ladies and gentlemen. So let's have a look how this next weekly candle gonna close. If, however, we will be able to reclaim the $121,000, the next major resistance is going to be at $135,000. As you know, we are trading inside of an idealized corrective wave pattern, ladies and gentlemen, where the B wave can actually extend beyond the A wave quite a lot. Okay, it can be an expanded flat pattern, so it can extend quite a lot. But what's important to understand is that the A and B waves are corrective mode waves. What does it mean? It's not an impulse, it's not a 5-move structure, it's a 3-wave structure or a variations of there. Okay, and right now it's possible that we are creating ABC zigzag. Okay, you know ABC zigzag, how it looks from our website mycryptoparadise.com. if you are educating yourself in our MCP free university, basically the ABC consists out of 3 waves. The A and C wave are motive mode waves and the B wave is a corrective mode wave. And when you have the start of the A wave and the end of the B wave, you can actually predict where the C wave is going to finish. Let me show you. So this is the start of the A wave, this is the end of the B wave, and right now we can place our trend line right here, our ascending trend line like this. We got the slope of the trend line, we copy the trend line and we put it to the top of the A wave right here, right? And right now we can see that this ascending trend line will be acting as a resistance. Okay, and then it really depends on the price action how fast we're gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, if we go fast a lot, as you can see, it will nicely confluence with the $135,000. Of course we can wick above it, however I don't think it's going to be that slow that we will be multiple weeks grinding to the upwards. However, it can happen, right? But with that you need to count with extension of this line in case of this is really gonna be an ABC zigzag formation. Also, you can understand that the A equals C wave usually, so you can measure the length of the A wave, you can place it to the start of the C wave, and you can see it nicely confluences with the $135,000. All right, so there are some predictions where the price action is going to end if we will be able to reclaim the $121,000. However, if we will create the similar bearish engulfing candlestick pattern like we did right here, and the $121,000 resistance is going to hold, you know that we are going down, right? And we are going down towards $88,000. So be aware of the confirmations I will be talking about in this video as well, about this one on ultra high time frame perspective as well, and make sure that you're executing your trades only when the probabilities are on your side. Don't be a gambler, ladies and gentlemen, be a professional trader. Okay, let's zoom in right now and take a look what's happening on the daily time frame. You can see that we are right here trading inside of a channel, and it can indeed be an ABC, right? However, if we will start exceeding beyond this high right here, we will start creating an impulse. Okay, so the difference between an ABC zigzag and an impulse is that the impulse is a motive mode wave, so it would confirm that it would be the C wave of our zigzag, right? The C wave is a motive mode wave, it consists out of 5 smaller waves, 1 2 3 4 5, right? So if this is not a zigzag corrective mode wave ABC, and we will start closing above the previous local high right here, we will start creating 5 moves to the upside, and that means this was a 3rd wave, this is a 4th wave, and we will have a 5th wave, probably ending at around that $135,000, ladies and gentlemen, right here. So we need to be extremely careful how this moving average trend line and this ascending trend line is gonna keep on reacting. As you can see, so far it reacted quite well. We have touched this ascending trend line that I've been analyzing for you in the previous videos, and also we have got close to the moving average trend line, and it seems like it got loads of support right here. Okay, it got loads of support. We also have the VPVR right here, the volume profile, creating some nice demand for Bitcoin. So the bulls are defending the price action so far very well. And if they keep on defending and we will not be able to reclaim to the downside this ascending trend line and turn it into resistance, we will not continue towards $109,000. All right. If we will, however, reclaim it successfully and there will be enough confirmations, we will start going to the next support zone that is going to be at around $109,000. All right. However, if this is gonna hold, ladies and gentlemen, and we will start closing above these previous highs, it means that we are creating not an ABC zigzag, but 5 moves to the upside, an impulse, right? And we will be creating a fifth wave that can exceed as far as $135,000, right? So as you know from the Elliott wave perspective, this ascending trend line will be acting resistance, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have these kind of wickouts, these kind of deviations above it to liquidate some short positions, right? So be very careful how right now we will be reacting to the resistances above us, because there is the possibility that we are creating 5 moves to the upside, not ABC zigzag. Also, take a look at the RSI indicator. Right now we are trying to do something like a bearish reclaim. We got the break to the downside and right now we are retesting the moving average RSI trend line. If this is gonna hold, we are going to the downside, and as you can see, we are already playing in an overbought area. The 0.70 is an overbought area, considered as overbought, right? The 0.50 is the middle and the point around 30 is an oversold area, right? So if we will have a successful bearish reclaim, we are going down to that oversold area, ladies and gentlemen, and it will beautifully confluence with this support zone, because I do believe that the 30 points and the $109,000 will be confluencing and synergizing together pretty well. So if that's going to be the case and the moving average RSI trend line will hold nicely, we are going down towards $109,000. Ladies and gentlemen, be also very aware of this shooting star candlestick pattern that I have already showed you in the previous video, and as you can see, we have also got that conformational bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. Similar thing happened right here on the weekly time frame, right? And you know how it ended up, right? So it's extremely important to be aware of all the bullish and bearish pressures right now and really wait for beautiful confirmations. That's only how you can make it in the market. We have got a second shooting star candlestick pattern created just yesterday, and that is why it's extremely important to watch these highs right here. If we will be able to reclaim that, we are going higher. However, if this is going to hold as a resistance, we will be attacking again this ascending trendline support, and if we will be able to reclaim it, we are going down, and nothing is stopping us, ladies and gentlemen. Let's right now zoom in even more and let's take a look at the medium time frame. What's going on right here? So first of all, let's take a look at some fractals, and you know that we have a fractal that happened in May, ladies and gentlemen. Very similar price action is happening right now as well. As you know, we have had some bullish price action to the upside, then we stopped right here at the resistance area, right? And we have got rejection. The same way it happened right here, a bullish price action to the upside, we have stopped at our nicely analyzed resistance, and then rejection to the downside. And then what you need to understand, if the trend is indeed changing from bullish into bearish, you need confirmations, and what you need for confirmations, some successful reclaims. So the rejection from the resistance with more than above average volume is not enough. You need a confirmation of a bearish retest, and we have got exactly that right here, and then we have continued to the downside. Let's take a look what's happening right here. It's really a nice fractal, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the rejection as well, as you know, and then we have got the bearish retest right here, and together with that we have created a bearish pattern, head and shoulders. This is our left shoulder, this is our head, and this is our right shoulder. As you know from our MCP Free University, we are creating for you beautiful articles. The Paradise team is really working very hard on making sure that we explain everything perfectly for you for free, so you can really benefit from the knowledge nicely, so you can basically create a beautiful trades out of it. All right, so you know how to measure the target if the neckline gets broken, right? And basically you measure the depth of the head and the neckline, and then you basically take the counting tool with which you have created the measurement and you put it to the probable breakout point. And as you can see, it beautifully confluences with our $109,000, ladies and gentlemen. This zone right here, if we will be able to reclaim this neckline, will be working as a nice demand zone, right? But you need to be aware that right now we have created a bullish divergence. As you can see, the price action being creating lower lows, however the histogram on the MACD being creating higher lows. What does it mean? That means that the momentum of the bears is decreasing. Take a look right here, the momentum is very big and the momentum right here is decreasing, right? So this is basically considered as bullish divergence because the bearish momentum is decreasing and it's very easy for the bulls to start taking over. That is why it's extremely important to watch right now how this high is going to react. Okay, we can also place our Fibonacci retracement tool right here. As you can see, we have already closed a 4-hour candle above this 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. Now on lower time frames, if we will have some double bottom formation, etc., it will be very high probability that we will continue to go to the upside and retest again this resistance. And this resistance is the $121,000, right? And if we have a successful reclaim, nothing is stopping us from retesting the $135,000. So be very careful about how we will be reacting right now, ladies and gentlemen, with the highs and with the resistance. If there will be a reclaim, we will be targeting a major resistance, $135,000. However, if we will start breaking to the downside this neckline and we will have a successful bearish reclaim, okay, so firstly you need to have a break to the downside with more than average volume above this moving average trend line, and after that you also want to have a bearish retest, basically confirm that this support is changing into a resistance, and after that you can create a beautiful trades with high probability where you can place stop loss very tight to your entry price and sell targets, because you are working with just major and super strong demand zones and support levels you can place very far away, right? So right now you are not taking random trades, you are waiting for confirmations and you are focusing on creating the trades that gives you the best high risk reward probability ratio, right? Because most of the traders, what they are doing the opposite. They are keep taking profits, very small profits, and then they hit one big loss, right? Why? Because they are just doing random trades. They are doing what the social media tells them and they are not analyzing the market properly. So if you want to analyze the market and trade the market properly, you need to be watching out for not only the highest probability trades, but also for the trades that come in with the best risk to reward ratio. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you great luck. If you are not in Paradise and VIP, definitely you need a luck. Trade safe, trade with a proper trading strategy, and I will see you again next time. You know I'm recording for you every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday right here on YouTube. Smash the like button if you are enjoying and getting value from these videos, and I will see you again on Thursday. Cheers.